Hey world, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, something like that. It's the 27th of August 2014. It's a void moon all day for the next 12 hours at least. As I think I might have said in my weekly video, it's a day to do the filing. So, I'm so deep into this Pluto book, I'm so close to the end now. I'm going to give you a taster. This book will be ready for sell in about 6 weeks' time, hardback, 8 weeks' time. So I'll be talking about that soon. But here's a taster. For the next 5 minutes, I'm going to talk about Pluto in the sky by transit to the Ascendant. Quote, Pluto by transit to the Ascendant or rising sign directly influences the interaction that the individual has with people in the outside world at the one-to-one status, as well as how the individual behaves at the minute-by-minute and day-by-day level. The Ascendant represents the armour that the person puts on as they go outside the front door. It is the way that they are in the outside world, in terms of moment-by-moment interaction. Any transit from Pluto to the Ascendant creates a kind of veneer around the individual, making them seem to the outside world as though they are not to be trifled with without caution and care. The transiting trine from Pluto to the Ascendant brings the opportunity for other people in the person's life to suddenly step up to the mark and acquire a degree of substance. It should denote other people coming in who have a degree of gravitas and profoundness about them. Not in any way lightweight, and it always helps sort out the wheat from the chaff when it comes to defining who in one's community is reliable under pressure and who is not. Pluto by transit sextiling the natal ascendant shifts the emphasis somewhat from the role of others in the person's life to the way that the individual in question impacts upon other people's lives. It makes the person come across to others as being more solid, stable, deep and reliable than previously presumed, and it gives them the ability to make and take far-reaching decisions without screwing up. The transiting sextile of Pluto makes the opportunity for relationship developments and other types of profound meetings to have a greater potential for success than usual, and should be seen as an aspect of positive transformation. The square from transiting Pluto to the natal ascendant makes for difficult interactions with certain others in the person's life, however. It helps create a somewhat confrontational or pushy attitude, either from the individual or towards them, but in a way that isn't given to willing compromise. When Pluto by transit is square the natal ascendant, it can bring some very intense encounters with others. And if so, there is a need to behave in above board and transparent ways, regardless of how others behave. It can occasionally attract subversive behaviour from other people, and the attraction to this type of energy can be quite strong, but should be resisted, lest the person become just like those around them who are trying to drag this person down to their level. Pluto transiting opposite the ascendant is primarily related to the patterning in all of one's relationship with other at the one-to-one level, normally but not necessarily that concerning personal and intimate relationships. It is almost inevitable that during this transit an element of extremism or other similar form of intensity will enter one's personal life, often as a result of developments in the lives of those very close. An eliminative response to difficult relationships is often evident at this time, in that the individual will often just shut the door and walk away, never to return if they feel that this action is justified. On the one hand, this transit leads to a much more incisive and decisive attitude towards one's personal relationships, in that situations quickly become reduced to a yes-no, black-white situation, where although the options are stark, the individual will quickly know where they stand. Alternatively, those relationships that withstand the intense scrutiny and testing that this transit brings will emerge out of the alchemical crucible in a way that is seen as solid, invulnerable and sustainable for the long-term future. The conjunction of transiting Pluto to the natal ascendant is a different thing altogether. The ascendant is one of the most important points in the horoscope, being the point of reference into the outside world, into the world outside of one's body and personal life. So to have the behemoth that is the astrological Pluto on top of it brings immense change. The compression of power and energy that is generated by this transit is one of the strongest of all, and no one exits this time the same way that they entered it. Here, Pluto metaphorically wipes the slate clean and eradicates old and worn out patterns of behaviour and social interaction, replacing them with a far greater capacity for streamlined and effective attitudes and behaviour. This period can also bring the impression to others that the individual may be on a power or control trip during the length of this transit, which is not actually the case, but the person will definitely exude an element of challenge at this time. Inevitably, during this process, the nature of relationship patterns, both with other and oneself, will go through massive upheavals and irrevocable change. If the person undergoing this transit may actually go through a major makeover, changing their appearance, their lifestyle, the works. Transiting Pluto conjunct the natal ascendant is one of the biggest astrological aspects of all in terms of transforming one's life, both internally and externally. There you go. Hope you liked it. Book's out in, I don't know, 6 weeks' time. Enjoy. Bye.